Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nathan.
Welcome to episode 100 of Adventures and Mousecapades. 100 episodes. We can go into syndication.
That's right.
Yep, we can go into syndication now. That's it.
I don't know if we'd have to be a proven commercial success, and given our lack of sponsors or a Patreon or anything, or really just a revenue stream in general, I don't know if we're going to get a really sweet syndication deal.
Or any reviews from people that listen to our podcast. Help us out, peeps, please.
Give us some reviews at least.
Some nice ones would be good too.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow, 100 episodes.
100
pretty
episodes.
Cool.
This has been pretty awesome, though. I really enjoy doing this and just talking at you.
Yeah. I like you talking at me too.
Yes,
oh, you meant them.
No, actually, I meant you.
Oh. You like me?
Talking. I do.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, that went really high.
What are you, some Disney princess?
No, definitely not. More like Yzma.
Oh, come on now.
She's got the poison. The poison for Cusco.
This again?
Cusco's poison.
Oh my gosh. Yep, she does. That's true.
No, I don't know what villain I'm more like. It's not Yzma. I just like her name. Okay, I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent over there for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Today, we are talking about a tour that we did in Disneyland that was just phenomenal. I'm speechless that we got to do this.
Yes, which is not going to turn out well for a podcast if we're speechless, but we'll see what we can do.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I am thrilled to bits that we got to do this.
There you go.
The tour we went on was called Walt's Main Street Story. And it's about a 90-minute tour, maybe a little longer than that. Mm-hmm. And I think I found this like right before we left for vacation. I was just looking around to see what tours Disney had. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This one. I want to do this one. Let's do this one. So I booked it for myself, Nathan, and Sterling.
Yes, I think I got some sort of message like, hey, would you be interested in this tour? And I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of interesting. And Alicia says, great, because I already booked it.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I could have unbooked it, but I probably would have gone anyway just because of where this goes.
Yeah, there was not a chance that I was going to say no to this one. This is pretty awesome. So without further ado, let's talk about Walt's Main Street Story.
So if you've never done a tour in Disneyland, you usually get over to the tour spot. There's like a tour garden area to the left of guest services. Mm-hmm. And it's a little like gazebo garden area. And we checked in, I think it was 15 minutes ahead of time.
Correct.
We got a really nice badge pin type thing with our names on it and Walt's Main Street Story on it. That was really cool. Yeah. And they gave us waters if we wanted waters. And I think there were only 6 people on this tour, right? Or was there 8?
No, there was 6, and we were half of the party. Yep, because we had Sterling with us.
That's right, which is nice having a small tour like this.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
The tour we went on is called Walt's Main Street Story. It was introduced in about October of 2022. Disney used to have one called Walking in Walt's Footsteps or Walk in Walt's Footsteps. That was a much longer, much more involved tour. It was like a 4-hour tour. And the one we did was about 90 minutes, I think.
Maybe 2 hours,
maybe
somewhere
2
there.
Hours?
Yeah.
Pared down quite a bit. We still got a lot of information about things, though. And I still enjoyed this tour quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I would do this one again. I think it would have been cool to do the Walking in Walt's Footsteps tour. That included a couple rides there on Main Street in that area that were kind of sentimental and special to Walt. But it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
we still
learned a
got
lot.
we learned a lot, and we really got some special stuff.
We learned, now, I should say we kind of already knew this, but, me pushing my glasses up, I already knew that Main Street was inspired by Marceline, Missouri, which is Walt Disney's hometown.
Yes. It was kind of cool. The tour guide talked about how it was, it's obviously inspired by Marceline, but it's more of the memory of Marceline rather than trying to be a direct copy of what Marceline, Missouri was like way, way, way back in the day when Walt and Roy were little kids. So it's inspired by that quintessential turn of the century, obviously the last century, Americana. And it's not meant to be Walt's hometown. It's everybody's hometown.
Yes. And our guide talked about all the main streets across the globe. Every Magic Kingdom park has one, though some of them have a different name. Some of them are laid out a little bit differently. Some include gazebos, some do not.
One even has a completely covered area that is the Main Street thoroughfare area. So that would be, I believe, over in Tokyo, where it's all glassed in.
So hopefully someday we'll be able to visit that. I'm interested in checking out that Main Street.
100%. 100%.
Yes. We also learned about some of the windows in Disneyland. Not all of them, because there are a crap ton.
Oh, yes. There was a metric crap ton.
Metric crap ton.
That's right.
I almost said something else, but I did not. The windows in Disneyland honor people who have made significant contributions to Disneyland in the beginning and throughout the years.
And these include lots of designers and artists and musicians and composers. One of them that was called out specifically was Emile Curie, who was an interior and set decorator at the Walt Disney Studios. He worked on Pollyanna and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Mary Poppins, and he got pulled in to work on a bunch of the details over at Disneyland as well, including, a little bit of foreshadowing here, Walt's apartment.
Yes.
There's also a window for Elias Disney, who was Walt and Roy's dad, and it said Elias Disney, contractor, because their dad was a general contractor who was always working on projects and trying to make big things happen.
One of the windows is also about the casting agency. It's a nod to the Disneyland cast members, and I love that they have that up there.
Absolutely. They also have windows that honor things like Make-A-Wish Foundation and some other charitable causes. There's just lots of details. This is kind of one of those things where, and it was kind of neat. We were talking with Caitlin, who's home for Thanksgiving right now, and she was mentioning how she's looking forward to our trip in coming up actually here in a few weeks to Florida, and how she just wants to take in the vibes and the details and what's going on, and isn't super keen on, well, I mean, she's going to do a bunch of rides, but she doesn't want to just go and do rides. Like, she just really wants to be there and soak in the ambiance. And that's really what this focused about. This whole tour was about the ambiance and everything that, and the details that are happening on Main Street USA.
Yep. One of the offshoots of Main Street USA, little kind of alleyway type thing, is called Center Street. And there's some shops and windows in there that are really quite interesting. If you have a chance, just kind of go over in that area, look and listen. One of the areas is called Hotel Marceline. It's one of the fronts on Center Street. And the real Hotel Marceline is still serving guests today in Missouri.
Indeed. And our guide talked about this is kind of how Walt loved to just plus things up. And so when you're walking around Center Street and other areas, you can hear someone taking a shower, for example, in the Marceline Hotel, or Hotel Marceline. Don't get that wrong. And you can also hear someone screaming at the quote unquote painless dentist, which is pretty hilarious. You can even hear some piano exercises going on at the apartment. I believe it's above the Emporium. That's where the piano lessons are. No, it's not above the Emporium. I forget. It's on Main Street. It's one of those second floor windows.
It's on Center Street, yeah. One of the interesting things when he brought this up about the painless dentist, I don't know if I've specifically seen or heard this at Disneyland. However, I do remember from this past June, seeing this in Disneyland Paris on the main street there, I thought it was hilarious. I was walking around and I heard somebody not very happy. And I'm like, where the heck is that coming from? And realized it was coming from the painless dentist in Paris. Yeah. So
Nice.
sounds like they've opened up a office across the sea.
A branch office.
Branch office. Yep.
They've gone. The painless dentist is now international.
Exactly.
Yeah, franchise opportunities available near you.
Yeah.
We also strolled over to the Main Street Theater, and we were introduced or reintroduced, depending on your background, to Tilly, who is the ticket taker there at the ticket-taking booth at the Main Street Theater. And she always dresses to match the season, and so they are always changing her costumes out. And one of the really cool things about Tilly is that she does have a cast member name tag on, and it says she's from Marceline, Missouri.
I should note at this point that Tilly is a mannequin that is dressed up, not
Yes.
a real life person.
Very true. Very true. My bad.
It's all right.
Speaking of attention to detail, it's also cool to see just all of the little details that go into Main Street USA at any of the Disney parks. Especially of note here at Disneyland is the Coca-Cola refreshment corner, which is kind of where Casey's is, the castle end of Main Street on the left as you're facing the castle in Florida, that is.
Okay.
Here in California, it's the Coca-Cola refreshment corner. And you'll notice there are alternating red and white lights around the underside of the awning there at the corner.
Old school light bulbs.
Yeah, just very old school. It's really cool to see. Just all the decor is so amazing.
Yeah.
But pay attention. Look at every single light bulb and you will find a very, very special light bulb. Because when they built that, they ended up having an odd number of light bulbs. And they didn't want to have two white ones next to each other, and they didn't want to have two red ones next to each other. So there is a light bulb that is painted half white and half red to keep the alternating red and white light bulbs going. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. When we were done at the Coca-Cola refreshment corner, we walked down Main Street towards the front of the park and stopped at the Gibson Girl Ice Cream Parlor, where we had some additional stories told to us by our guide, and he let us know that this used to be the Sun-Kissed Citrus House, and Walt loved the freshly squeezed OJ there. Now it's the ice cream shop, and it's yummy ice cream.
Well, it's actually kind of cool because it used to be someplace that Walt loved. Like he loved the fresh squeezed juice that was at Sunkist Citrus House. And when they changed it in the late 90s, I think 97 or something like that, into an ice cream shop, it's another thing that Walt absolutely loved was ice cream. So there, even though it's not the exact same as what Walt had in Disneyland, when he was around, it's still a passion of Walt's that is available for you to enjoy as a snack.
Yep. Then on to the important part of the tour.
Exactly. And this was, I think everybody kind of knew this was coming. And our tour guide was kind of playing coy and left and I'm sure you probably don't know what's next, but it's time to go visit Walt Disney's apartment.
Yeah.
And this was pretty dang magical. So for those of you who may not know, Walt Disney, when he was building Disneyland, was working incredible long hours and was living up north of Los Angeles. And so that commute was a very long way to go when you were getting finished with your work and overseeing the construction of Disneyland at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, needed to be back at 7, but you had an hour one-way trip to get back home. So they decided to build an apartment for Walt and Lillian to stay in above the firehouse. And yeah, we got to go inside Walt's apartment.
We got to go in. It was amazing.
Yes. Now, unfortunately, this is a backstage area, so there's no photographs allowed, which was a bummer. But it was still an incredibly amazing experience. His apartment's about 500 square feet, so it's not super huge. It's kind of one big living room area that has a couple twin size sleeper couches that would fold out. Yes, Walt and Lillian slept in separate beds, the old school way to marital happiness. Had a small kitchenette there at the back of kind of that main living area. Also had a wardrobe kind of closet area and a bathroom.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. But it wasn't meant to live in forever. It was just a place to stay over and to entertain the grandkids.
Yep. It's a studio apartment. For the most part, it was left just as it was when Walt was alive.
Yeah. The family obviously has taken a lot of the personal effects from Walt and Lillian. The archives have taken a bunch of stuff that are super important to the history of the company, but all of that stuff has been replaced with something that's exceptionally similar, you know, or exact replicas, something that's at least themed in the same way. So it really does feel like you were stepping back into a late 50s apartment. Now, a very plush and well-appointed apartment. But, you know, that goes back up to Emil Curry, who worked closely with Lillian to do the interior decorating of this place. And they did a fantastic job.
The overall color scheme and look of this apartment it's Victorian because Lillian wanted a Victorian feel to it. And cranberry, I guess, was her favorite color. So there's a lot of cranberry coloring and touches throughout the apartment.
Some of the original things, though, are still there. There was this gorgeous music box that's really the size of like a small fridge that's upright. It's just completely ornate and carved. And our tour guide was saying, like, nobody is allowed to touch it. Like, every once in a blue moon, you know, they'll play music from it, but it is not a typical thing to happen just because it's so old and brittle and they don't want to break it.
He said you have to have approval, like, all the way up the chain from archives and all sorts of stuff. It's like just the red tape to get through to play it is ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very much. No. Those twin size sleeper couches, those are original. There's a phone in there that was original.
That was a direct line.
Yes, direct line to folks. Yep. There were original items in the kitchenette, including a Tom and Jerry set. And this was interesting. I didn't realize, you know, we think Tom and Jerry as young kids that we are, and we think of the cartoon series with the cat and the mouse. Well, Tom and Jerry is a drink, especially popular in the winter months and the holiday times. And it's kind of a, if I remember correctly, I think it's kind of a spiced, Alicia, do you remember?
It's kind of like eggnog with brandy and rum.
Okay. Got it. Anyhow, so there's this whole set, a Tom and Jerry set, and it says Tom and Jerry on the side of it. So it was kind of funny. The tour guide made a joke about, I bet you are wondering why this says Tom and Jerry, because that's kind of a different studio, but this is a different reference. But also, ironically, probably some insight into why Tom and Jerry are named Tom and Jerry, because it was a popular thing that everybody knew about. Also have an original toaster in there, and
yes, the important thing.
The most important thing. And something that I shed a tear over. Walt Disney's original grilled cheesemaker. His griddle. Oh,
his grilled cheesemaker. He liked the simple things. Nathan, calm yourself.
It was a thing of beauty.
It was a thing of beauty. That was, I swear that both Nathan and I did a little gasp when they said what that was. I'm like, wait, is that a grilled cheesemaker? And the tour guide says, yes, that is a grilled cheesemaker. And I was like, whoa.
Oh, be still, my beating heart.
Be still. Well, he liked grilled cheese.
He
orange
did.
Juice, ice cream, chili.
Yeah.
The good chili too.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And man, in fact, that was something that was mentioned. Like, he was just a guy of simple tastes. He didn't often want to have super fancy dinners and things like that. Yeah. He knew what he liked, and he was kind of a picky eater, and he just stuck with it. So I take my inspiration from Walt Disney. And if anybody has a problem with that, like, just check your issues at the door, because I'm not going to hear it.
We have simple food tastes.
That's right. Yep. So, Bill, get off my back.
Oh, stop. Also original was the tile in the bathroom. They would not let anybody walk in there because it's brittle. They didn't want to mess anything up. It's pink in there. Like the toilet and the sink and the shower. They were salmon pink.
Yes. It was
This
is where you go like, oh yeah, this is from the 50s. Got it.
It was
Check.
It was sign of the times. One interesting thing, one, I guess, bit of luxury in there was the shower had 4 shower heads.
Yes. Yes. It was a bougie shower before bougie showers existed.
Yes.
So one interesting tidbit is that the firehouse, it has a fire pole in it because the firemen sleep upstairs and ride down the pole to get to the truck. Well, that fire pole used to extend all the way into Walt's apartment, and it was a way for him to get down if he really wanted to do it, or I'm sure for the grandkids to have fun, things like that. And yeah, so that was open until one day some young enterprising lad decided to climb up the fire pole and all of a sudden was in Walt Disney's apartment.
And he was in there.
Yeah. They closed that up pretty quickly after that.
Oh, something we didn't mention with the original twin-size sleeper couches.
Yes.
Back then, it was customary for people to have a photo of their mother hanging above their beds.
Yeah. I love my mother, but
I love my mother too. I love your mother too.
Yeah, but we're not. No. That's too far.
Everybody was very surprised when they heard that. They were like, "What? No. Yeah.
So we all love our mothers. However, we're not hanging a picture of our mothers above our bed.
So that tradition has changed.
It has changed 100%.
A lot of people know the story about the lamp in Walt and Lillian's apartment. When Walt was in the parks, that light would be on when he was in the park, signifying that, hey, I'm here.
Right.
And
making sure all the cast members could be on their best behavior. Because you never know when the boss is going to walk by.
And when he passed, one of the things that they did was leave the light on.
Yeah. And so there is always a light forevermore on inside the apartment, right there in the middle window that you can see above the firehouse. Now, it's not the original lamp. That's off to the family or to the archives. And at the holidays, it gets changed to a tree. So when we were there was a little tabletop Christmas tree. But Walt used to put a tree there too in the holidays. So it was really kind of cool to say like, oh, well, it's not like they've broken tradition by removing the lamp. The tree is something that Walt would have done too. So it's really kind of cool.
Yeah. And something happened that I was not expecting, Nathan. I don't know if you were either. There was a PhotoPass photographer that came to take pictures of us in the apartment.
Yes.
So we have pictures of ourselves in Walt's apartment, standing by the couch and then standing by the tree, the lamp area, looking outside the window. And that was powerful.
Just like Walt used to do.
Yeah.
That was a pretty emotional moment to be able to do there and lean out the window a little bit and take a peek out at Main Street. And that was pretty dang special. Yeah, we're both a little verklempt at the moment. So
I do want to say that Sterling was with us on this tour too.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure exactly how he would be with this tour. Like if he'd just be like, whatever. He was overcome in the apartment.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, Nathan. He got quite emotional about it.
Yeah, I saw.
I don't know if it was just, well, he said this is a big deal. And just hearing him say that, I was like, oh, it actually means something. I am so happy.
Yeah.
But just being there and just, I guess, being a part of this and seeing and having him understand that it's a big deal was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, we're doing something right, I guess. Not everything, but something.
Here and there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. After we got these awesome pictures taken, we got to go visit the patio on the outside of the apartment for
Indeed.
some drinks and snacks.
Yeah, it was really great, and evidently Walt used to hang out there as well. And you're kind of secluded behind a tree, and you can see a little bit and do a little bit of people watching. And most people don't even ever think to look up there, so
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. But yeah, it was. They may have changed the name of the tour, but you're still really walking in Walt's footsteps around Main Street and through his apartment. And for any Disney aficionado, this is a must do. It wasn't incredibly expensive, was it?
Well,
All right, never mind. Maybe I don't want to know the answer to that question.
I'm trying to remember how much it was. I think you'll have to weigh the cost off of if it means a lot to see Walt's apartment. I think the cost would have been, to me, better paired against a 4-hour tour rather than a 2-hour tour. But I also knew what we would be getting by doing this. So
Yeah.
Disney's tours can be pricey, and this one was fairly pricey for the time that you spend on here. However, I think also because you were going into Walt's apartment, that's where you balance the cost
Right.
versus your, was it ROI?
Yeah, exactly. Your return on investment.
Yeah.
It really depends on the person. For us, this was worth it. For you, it may not be. Although if you're listening to a Disney podcast, it's probably going to be worth it to you. So, but it may be something that not everybody in your family is interested in doing. Yeah. We had somebody with us on the tour who was just there for the day, and her kids were in school, and her husband was at work or whatever, and she just went to the tour by herself because she knew it was something that they wouldn't be 100% interested in. And that may be your situation. If some of your party wants to go do Space Mountain and this, that, and the other thing, and you want to go do this tour, I think that's a personal decision. It's a little pricey, but for the right person, for being in the room where it happened, so to speak, it's kind of it's a bucket list thing for, I think, a lot of Disney people.
Yeah. I actually think I'd do this again, though.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's different stories that get told, because there's got to be a glut of stories.
Yeah.
So I know they have the regular spiel, the script that they have to say, but I wonder if they pick and choose depending on the day.
Yeah. Maybe.
Or who's there or whatnot. And also just it's hard because you don't get to take pictures when you're in the apartment. I'm like, I know there's stuff that I missed. I want to try and get another visual picture of it all and just see it again, honestly. Maybe not during the holiday season, so we can see it with a lamp.
Yeah.
And get pictures of us with a lamp.
Yep.
The little tree is really cute, though.
It is. Yeah, so I think that's where we'll end it. I think this is a fantastic tour. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more in the kind of background and history. It felt a little bit more on the Main Street half of the tour of just kind of running through a script, whereas up in the apartment felt more authentic. It felt, I don't know, it was just different. It was more impactful for me.
I think it's also because we weren't in the hustle and bustle of the park. It was easier for us as a group to ask questions when we were up there. It was quiet up there, which was nice.
Yeah.
Also, just there and on the patio area, it was nice just getting to know a little bit more about the people that were on the tour with us, a little more about our tour guide, Fernando, who that was his very last tour.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
He is moving on to a more supervisory role there with the tour groups and tour guides. And so it was his last time. And I know Sterling asked him, turned the tables a little bit, asked him some of his favorites and what he'll miss most and things like that. So it was pretty cool. It was great. I enjoyed the experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did too.
It was good. It was good. We'll have to do it again, Alicia, because we got to take Caitlin next time.
There you go. I
Yeah.
don't know when that'll happen, but
Now,
sure.
who knows?
Or, when we just go down to Disneyland for a long weekend or something.
Oh, yeah.
Sterling will be old enough. We'll tell him, go wait in line for Matterhorn. Dad and I are going to take a tour.
Right. Go wreck your back. Ours is already toast. We'll see you in a couple hours.
Yep.
And with that, although we love Disney, we're not officially affiliated with Disney or any of their subsidiaries. These are our personal opinions and suggestions based on our own experiences. We recommend working with a travel agent or contacting Disney directly to plan your perfect vacation.
If you have questions or suggestions, or if you would like to be interviewed on our show to share your Disney experience, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
Give us a follow on social media. We're at Our Mousecapades. And we are actually working on getting all of our backlog of episodes up onto YouTube. And we'll be posting new episodes on YouTube here within the next, I would say, week or so. I've got a bunch already done, and we'll be working on more over the coming days. But yeah, that will be one more place for you to find us. Just look for Adventures in Mousecapades on YouTube, and we've linked to it from our main webpage there at ourmousecapades.com.
This is your PSA for today. Please rate and review in your podcast app. It really does help people find us, and we would really appreciate hearing from you.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.